Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members of the patrons. Make sure to subscribe. We are trying to hit 50,000 subscribers, and let's get into it. And I did another kind of, not top 5, but a 5 list of aircraft that can be added to substitute some of the aircraft that got taken off the store as a pack, right? These aircraft could be added as a GE premium or a pack as well, it doesn't matter, or even event, but probably a GE premium or something like that, to substitute the aircraft that were removed, as I was saying. So the aircraft that were removed was the SPS, the MiG-21, right? The Su-7 BMK, the Mirage Milan, the T2, the Draken A, and the A4E. But the A4E, just a disclaimer, we're not gonna mention too much because it's really difficult to find an interesting aircraft to actually add to substitute the A4, because kind of everything that the Israelis used is already in the game, so it's kind of hard. So we're going to exclude the A4 a little bit, but we're going to talk about 5 aircraft, or a little bit more than that, that can substitute these 5 others that I said. So let's start with one of our favorites, the MiG-21 SPS-K. If you don't know, the MiG-21 SPS is actually a MiG-21 PFM, the same PFM that we have in the Russian event Tech 3, right? But basically, it was a more advanced version, like a 70s, late 70s version of that SPS, in the sense that it got R60s and missiles like that, right? So it got removed from the store, and I think one of the coolest ones to actually add to substitute it would be the MiG-21M. So yeah, it's not that different and it's not that exciting, but it would be cool to see a GE premium like that. A MiG-21M, if you don't know, is an export model of the MiG-21S that we have in the game. But it would be different a little bit because the MiG-21S that we have in game as a premium for the Soviets actually uses the R13 engine instead of the R11. So becoming a lot more powerful. So basically the MiG-21S uses the engine of the SM or MF, right? The MF is the export version of the SM. So basically the M would be the export model of the S that it's in the game, but with the R11 engine instead of the R13. Everything else would be basically the same. So it could be a 9.7 or something like that, or even lower depending on how the performance is, since the MiG-21S is a 9.7, but probably would be a 9.7, with the ability to actually carry the R3S, the R3Rs, you know. It wouldn't have flares or chaff unless it actually takes the SPS 141, just like the SPS did. So the MiG-21 SPS, I mean. So originally it wouldn't take flares, but if you remove the cannon, in theory you can carry flares and chaff with the ECM pod. So it would be just a very interesting aircraft, kind of the similar from what we already have with the S, but basically one of the last German MiG-21s that we can actually receive in the game without, you know, having to use a trainer or something like that. So yeah, that would be my option for that. For the Su-7 BMK, which is, if you don't know, the BKL exported model, so it's basically the BKL that was exported. So yeah, we would remain in the Su and the Sukhoi lines. So my addition here would be the Su-11, the Interceptor, right? Similar to the Su-7. If you don't know, the Su-7 and the Su-9, they were developed together. The main difference, the Su-9 is the predecessor to the Su-11. I'm gonna get to it, but the Su-7 and Su-9, the main differences between them is that the Su-7, which was developed as a bomber, right, had a swept wing design, and the Su-9 had a delta wing design similar to the MiG-21, right? So yeah, but the Su-11 specifically was the evolution of the original Su-9. Why I would add the Su-11 instead of the 9 as a premium? Because the Su-9 can come to the 3 actually. You know, it was built a lot more than the Su-11. Around 1,150 Su-9s were built, and only 108 Su-11s were built. So they quickly shifted the the production from the Su-11 to the Su-15 like 1 year later. So yeah, basically you would be just a kind of a low production aircraft that was, introduced in the almost mid 60s, right? Uses the RP-11 radar, very similar radar to the early Su-15s, and it uses the K-8 and R-98 missiles. It has the addition of the R-3S as well, R-55, which, if you don't know, it's similar to something like an AIM-9D, but produced in the Soviet Union. It's a completely domestic design, but still in performance is similar to an AIM-9D. And it even had provisions to carry the UBK gun pod, so you can carry a gun, radar missiles, heat-seeking missiles. The radar can detect a bomber up to 30 kilometers and a fighter from up to 15 kilometers, and actually use these missiles in these the BVR missiles, the R-98, for example, at these ranges. It's a missile that turns basically 15 Gs, so it would be similar to something like FRC or something like that, the missiles that those aircraft carry, right? And it would be probably around 9.3 as well, 9.7, similarly from what the Su-7 was. So it would be a very, very cool aircraft. And yeah, they can even add the Su-9. We already have the Su-9 in the game, right? The post World War II versions of it. The Su-9 as the Tech 3 one, and the Su-11 for the premium. That could be the same principle, right? The Su-9 being the interceptor from the late 50s in the Tech 3, and in the early 60s, the Su-11, the better version that was produced last in the premium Tech 3. So yeah, it would be very, very cool. For the Mirage Milan, we have a very interesting one. I basically thought that aircraft was really bad, and a Mirage 3S from 1988 would be very, very cool. This is the Swiss version of the Mirage 3, so it is based off the Mirage 3E, right? But it has an Aran 18 radar system, a different radar, American radar, and also it could carry the AIM-4 instead of the R530, so a different missile as well, and also use the AIM-9s, right? It had the provision to carry even the rocket engine and even the canards after 1988, and also flares and chaff after 1988. So depending if he gets that, or depending the missiles that he gets and everything like that, it will depend on the BR. We could be like with just AIM-9Bs and the AIM-4, it could be just like 9.3, 9.7. No, not 9.3, like 9.7, 10.0. And if it's the 1988 version, it could be a 10.0, 10.3, something like that, right? So very, very cool aircraft. The T2 can be substituted by two things. I don't know exactly if it's actually two things. The first one would be to just add the normal Mitsubishi F1 for the premium Tech 3, and then actually introduce more modern stuff for the F1 in the Tech 3. So maybe flares and chaff. There are some claims for that. We don't know for sure, but still. And also better missiles like an AIM-9L or something like that, an increase in the BR, so it would be a little bit different. I don't know if people would want that. So the option for that would be also the T4, which is a Kawasaki T4. It's just a more modern trainer, subsonic and stuff. It has 50 meters of climb. It has 5 pylons that can be used for bombs and gun pods and missiles and stuff. So depending on odd missile it can carry and stuff, it could be added. It would be subsonic, as I said, so it wouldn't be that amazing. Maybe with some very good missiles like an AIM-9L or something, it could be a higher BR. I don't know if it has flares or not as well, but if it doesn't, it would be an interesting one to substitute the T2 that was removed from the store, right? The last one that we're going to talk about is the Draken A that was also removed from the store. We can have 2 aircraft as well. One of them would be the MiG-21 F-13 for the Finnish Tech 3, the Finnish rondo and stuff. It would be a cool aircraft to see in the Finnish Tech 3 nonetheless, but also can be added as a premium, as a 9.3, same BR that the F-13 has. I think it has 9.3, something like that, but still, it would be interesting, nothing too crazy, but still, another more domestic aircraft that can be added. is the Saab 35BS, or just a B variant in general. The BS was a B variant that was exported to the Finnish factory, to the Finnish Air Force, but it can also be just a normal B. It was primarily used with just unguided rockets, but it can use A9Bs and stuff, RB-24s, right? For the Finnish like Air Force, they didn't use missiles, but still, if it actually has the possibility to use, it probably will have it. Just like an R3R in the SPS, for example, we never got to use those missiles, but in the game we had it because it could in theory take it. So yeah, so A9Bs, RB-24s, right? Rockets, the 30mm guns. The general idea would be that it's just a more modern version of the Draken, a little bit, you know, has a way better radar. So yeah, it would be just an overall improvement over the A that we had, and it's just another version of the Saab with a domestic kind of line of thinking that can be added. It's not too different, but still pretty cool. But anyway, these are the 5 aircraft that I would add, or some of them at least, that I would add to substitute the aircraft that were removed from the store as pack premiums. Most of them I would like to see as GE premiums, but as pack premiums as well. I mean, the Su-11, for example, we already have a lot of pack premiums for the Soviet Union, so we don't need another one. But if they want to substitute it, I mean, yeah, a GE premium would make more sense, right? It's another case, for example, for the SPS. It already has the Lazur, but it's a way higher BR, so I don't know if it was cheaper than $60, but it would probably be $60. So the I don't know, a GE premium would be good as well, the same way as the MiG-21S is. So yeah, pretty good. And of course the BMK, not that it needs a substitute, as I was saying, because the MiG-21S is already one, right? It already is a GE premium and stuff, so we kind of don't need one, but it would be cool to see the Su-11 nonetheless. So yeah, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe. We are trying to hit 50,000 subscribers until the end of the year, so help me out there, and let's see each other in the next video. So thank you guys, and bye.